Hi everyone, 8:30, time for a quick weather update. If you're watching this Weather Extra from home on your cell phone in the dark without electricity, you're not the only one. CMP now is reporting close to 60,000 customers without power, 58,164 customers to be exact. That's nothing in comparison to New Hampshire, though. They're reporting over 100,000 customers without power there. We will have strong winds for the next couple of hours till about 10 or 11 o'clock, and the winds will slowly subside. Then, of course, we're going to draw our attention to the next high tide, which is just before midnight. I want to show you a photo. This is coming in from a viewer from Camp Ellis. This taken from the last high tide, which some minor flooding was reported there. Seas look pretty angry in that photo. That during the morning hours, of course. Of course, we're waiting for that high tide around midnight tonight. We're expecting minor flooding. A coastal flood warning has been issued for tonight's high tide. All right, let's take a look at our wind gusts, our peak wind gusts so far. Isles of Shoals coming in with a peak wind gust of 76 miles per hour. And this brand new, within the last 15 minutes or so, I got a report from Bath. Bath reporting 76 miles per hour as well. Those are the two strongest wind gusts I can find on the map. Portland is reporting 63 miles per hour. That and some of the heavier downpours that came through right around 6 o'clock or so, or just before 6 o'clock. Matinicus Rock reporting a gust close to 60. Same in Saco. Mount Washington. I always like to add Mount Washington. It's almost like cheating, though, isn't it? 140 miles per hour up on the rock pile tonight. Just a few more coming in recently. Lincoln. Over on the Mink Coast, reporting 58 miles per hour, Harpswell 51 miles per hour, and the National Weather Service office in Gray is reporting a wind gust of 55 miles per hour as well. All right, let's take a look at your current wind gust. 48 miles per hour in Portland. Some inland towns and northern sections are actually just starting to get into the wind. And we will have that wind for the next couple of hours. We really had to wait for those heavy downpours as expected to get the strongest winds. We had that low-level jet, and we still do, not that far up, just a few thousand feet in elevation. So we really need a mechanism like a heavy downpour to draw that extreme wind right down to the surface, and we're seeing that. The winds will stay active for the next several hours. After midnight, we'll start to see that improve. All right, let's take a look at the timing of this. This starts around 5 p.m., reading this from left to right. This takes us through about 1 a.m. right in here, and then through the morning hours tomorrow, 9 a.m. right in here. So sustained winds, probably 30 to maybe as high as 40 miles per hour. I think this model is a little out to lunch, being a little too high as far as sustained winds go. We will have frequent gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour, and we are seeing that. By morning, I think it's just breezy around here. Here's the Doppler HD. Again, as expected, we had to wait for those heavy downpours to roll through, all associated with an occluded front, which is moving through. You can easily make out that occluded front right in here. See that little appendage? This storm is taking on the shape of more of a nor'easter now than a classic hurricane, I guess you could say. It has become post-tropical, so the wind field is expanding in the storm, and it will ever so slowly begin to wind down. But what a massive storm this one was. It is still. We're looking at that occluded front right in here, and that's where we're seeing some of the heavier downpours moving into southern New Hampshire, southern portions of Maine, and now moving into eastern parts of Maine as well. Sandy making landfall over southern New Jersey. There she is, Category 1 storm, now becoming a post-tropical cyclone. The big story during the late afternoon and early evening hours, it went down to 940 millibars. All right, what the heck does that mean? Well, we measure these storms in pressure. The lower the pressure, typically the stronger the storm. Well, 940 is the lowest pressure I've ever seen in a storm on the East Coast. The last time we had a low pressure, 946, was in the Great Hurricane in 1938. And that was measured on Long Island. This one did break that record, going down to 940 millibars. So Sandy is going into the history books. All right, Sandy has a huge wind field here. We are looking at tropical storm force winds extending out up into northern New England. That storm is just going to meander around, giving us unsettled weather for the next several days. High wind warnings remain in effect through tomorrow morning. In addition to that, coastal flood warnings remain in effect as well. And the time frame for that will be through early tomorrow morning. We're mainly concerned with the high tide tonight around midnight, 11:58 to be exact. It's already running 9.3, higher than normal due to the full moon cycle. Add on another 2 to 4 foot surge on top of that. Flood stage in Portland is 12 feet, will likely eclipse that flood stage there. So, periods of rain for the next several hours, and by 7 o'clock, well, we're getting rid of at least the strong wind anyway. We still have some rain hanging around. Hey, tomorrow's going to be a mild day. I expect highs to make it back into the 60s. How does that sound? Sort of a tropical air mass with some on and off showers. Now, if you're going trick-or-treating on Wednesday, I think you're going to be happy with this forecast, or happier than last night anyway. Periods of rain during the morning, but the afternoon we'll just have a lot of clouds, and especially during the evening hours, a lot of clouds as well. I can't rule out some showers during prime trick-or-treating hours, but it looks mainly cloudy at this point, with temperatures staying on the mild side, mostly in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. So in the near term, the big story will be the strong winds continuing for the next several hours. Occasional gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour after midnight. That will slowly start to subside. But of course, right around midnight, that's when we have a whole new set of concerns, and that the high tide, where some coastal flooding is expected. Hope everyone stays safe tonight. If you get any photos, I'd love to see them. You can send them to me on my page on Facebook or my email. You can also get updates on WGME.com. And we'll have updates tonight at 11. You can see it, of course, if you have power. All right, that's the way things look tonight. Have a nice night.